Yeah.
Recording in progress.
There we go. Good evening. This is the Chicago Computer Society Linux SIG meeting for December 2025, the last meeting of the year. Next meeting will be Tips and Tricks SIG on Tuesday, January the 13th. There will not be a first Thursday meeting because that's New Year's Day, and that's why we usually don't have that first meeting of the year early. Now, let's see if I can. Now, offhand, do any of you have any questions, problems, etc., that you need to speak up about? Maybe get some help. No, you got too many problems. We got way too many. We don't want to take up 3 hours just for that. You're muted, by the way, Dennis.
Well, you didn't tell me I could talk.
Well, I didn't tell you to talk.
I know.
I just commented that you're muted, and you stayed muted.
I'm using LibreOffice on my Linux
Why?
because it's handy to use, and somehow I've maximized the screen, and now I can't get it
down
small.
size.
There, I mean, up at the top, there's the X button to close it. There's the minus sign to minimize it. But when I press the button, instead of it going smaller, it takes it and it shrinks it down to a tiny little icon on my desktop.
But that's what you can resize to any size you want. So that's actually what you want.
How do I get it out of there? There's an X and three dots over an X.
Mm-hmm. But it's a little square.
It's a rectangle.
Don't you know how to resize with your mouse and cursor to be able to resize the 4 dimensions?
I thought it was an icon. You're saying it's the box. It is the box. Okay, that was it.
That's why it has an X in it.
An icon, not the actual spreadsheet that was only this big. Okay, thanks. Got it.
That's all it was. As long as you saw the buttons in that little image, that means you have a window open. It's just shrunk down to near bare minimum. And you got to manually resize it.
Okay, got it.
Now, there is a second possibility, but it usually only occurs in Windows, and that is where you get either the screen image of a program off the screen, so you can't put the mouse pointer on it and pull it in, or you get a zoomed type screen in Windows that allows you to have the image of the screen greater than the capacity of your display device. And then you have to move your screen around to get to the 4 corners of the supersized image. And that's a pain in the butt. But there are ways of getting around both of those issues. I haven't seen those two ever appear in Linux, but anything's possible. Bob?
Yeah, I've had the same thing that Dennis saw happen with LibreOffice. By default, some of the modules, depending on how you install them, don't seem to know what your normal application window size is in the Cinnamon desktop. And you then have to specify or just stretch it out, do it once, and then it'll hold. until your next version upgrade of LibreOffice. Then it'll happen all over again, maybe. I have had applications with both in Windows and in Linux where there was this giant window and no visible X and no way to move the window.
Oh,
That's a problem of Windows scaling. And I have sometimes had to take my whole screen and go into the video controls and scale just to be able to get rid of those screens. They're usually advertising nag screens in Windows, but in Linux I have at least one application where the fellow who develops it has a giant display and it's a curved display and it's got weird dimensions, and so he thinks, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be. He also likes dark mode, which I don't. That application, by the way, is Photox, F-O-T-O-C-X, and it's got all kinds of weird things about it. But it's a good competitor with Adobe Photoshop, so it's sometimes worth scaling. But scaling is a real pain in the bother to do.
well, I don't care if you're on Windows. I don't know if it occurs on Macs or not. And on Linux, scaling can be a real headache, but I haven't had some of the instances I've had on Windows systems as yet on Linux. And I haven't even had this postage stamp occurrence with LibreOffice either. But I have had sometimes some applications show a small credit card size window or a little bit bigger, and then you have to go and drag the dimensions of the window so that you can resize it to a desirable size. Some people like full screen for all the work they do on their computer, which I've never understood. I don't care for it. But if you are doing one thing only at a time, then it becomes practical to do it that way. Otherwise, most everybody else has multiple windows potentially on the desktop. And ever since Linux got the ability to have virtual desktops, and eventually Mac and Windows went that route also. The sad part is we too often do not utilize the virtual desktops to spread the load from one screen only to say, hey, okay, I've got my desktop here for the presentation. Maybe in Virtual Desktop 2, I have my email client, and I can switch over to that and look at my emails. In a third one, I may have some other application that I'm also demo besides what I might do on Desktop 1. So we just don't take advantage of it, this feature. And on older systems that don't have all the horsepower in the CPU, a lot of memory, and maybe not a heck of a lot of storage relative to today's machines, that can be one of the handicaps for not using that feature. But when you have more horsepower, memory, and storage, it becomes quite viable to spread the load out. Peter.
Yeah. Virtual desktop, how do you set it up in Linux?
It usually comes already set up to begin with.
How do I access it?
It's hang on a second here. Take a look at take a look at my screen here. Down here towards the bottom, where the panel is, right to the left of I'll call it the sys tray. That's what we call it in Windows anyhow. there are four little slightly grayish black boxes. Each one of them is a desktop. This is desktop 1 or workspace 1. Then you have workspace 2 to the right, then 3 and 4. And most of them have 4, but some of them only set up maybe 2. You can add more virtual desktops. You can take away desktops that you're not particularly using. But this is the norm for, at least under regular Linux Mint. So
Okay, I'm in Mint and I don't see any of those boxes on my taskbar.
and you're running Mint?
Yep.
I've never seen Mint come up with no virtual desktops.
I don't see it either, Tim.
Go to
Are
System
you looking at the Linux machine?
Yes.
Like I said, and it is a little hard to distinguish, mind you. Hang on a second here. This might help a little bit. Notice down here on the bottom panel that a little box went from a dark gray to a lighter gray to indicate this browser is in that window. But the other 3 are still very dark gray, as opposed to my taskbar or panel being black. So
I just swept across it and I don't get any change in color across the entire bottom.
okay. Well,
Plus, when you hold your mouse over them, wouldn't they kind of say something or no?
they do create a little title.
Yeah, I don't see a title either. Yeah, I'm just like Pete. I don't see anything.
Desktop. And,
Workspace switcher. It's an applet,
yeah.
and it is not installed by default.
Has always been on my systems. Seriously.
You have to
I've never
go into
activated
your
it.
applets and plus it. Then it'll show up.
I've never had to do anything to get the virtual desktops. I'm not joking.
Yeah. Well, anyway, people should go into applets. And applets is itself an applet within system settings. And workplace switcher will be down near the bottom. And you can check it off simply by highlighting it and putting a plus mark to add it. And then it will be on your test bar. And there will be 4 of them.
Workspace switcher is what he's talking about.
Yep.
And mine came already there. That's why I'm getting. I never changed any of this here. So he's saying put a check mark here in front, and by doing that, you'll activate workspace switcher, and then you have down here workspaces, and you have some additional options that you can change to your heart content. So,
Okay, so mine is checked.
okay. See, check your workspaces under settings and see if that's got anything turned on or all off.
Okay, hold on.
Now, here's one other thing. If you got multiple monitors, you have an option here, which I don't have turned on. Only have workspaces on the primary monitor and not on the other monitors. But that's not one that I've ever had to mess with. When I install Linux Mint, I just get them. In fact, almost any Linux that I've ever installed, I get at least 2 or more virtual desktops without me trying to find a setting to change in order to get them. The bad part is I don't take advantage of them as much as I should. If I get Winbow to work during my next few weeks, um my intent on a Linux desktop would be to have Linux come up in desktop 1 and have the Winboat Windows virtual machine come up in virtual machine desktop 2. I've already thought that through.
Well, I just checked them all in there in the settings. And I may need to reboot to have it come in, and I don't want to do that during the meeting.
Right, and or you in some cases can log out and log back in, but that takes you out of the meeting too.
Yeah. And if I go out of the meeting, you might not let me back in.
You're right. Anyway, bottom line is there's been tons and tons of changes between Windows and Linux that you can't keep track of all the changes that are going on. Some of them are upsetting a lot of people, and other people think it's great. Under Windows, they've got a whole bunch of bugs they created by focusing on putting AI in everything, and people are screaming about the other problems they're creating, and they just started addressing some of those with the December update. The January should make it, I hope, somewhat better. But 25H2 generally works. It's just you may come across some what would be considered minor problems. They don't cause the system to crash or anything like that. In Linux, there have been lots of changes and updates to kernel versions. There are improvements in ext4 and better file system. There's talk, a lot of newbies to Linux, they are using I call it the Easter egg. It mimics exactly the way Windows and Mac are set up, with one large partition for just about everything versus partitioning. And they don't think it's worth partitioning. Well, in one of a couple of my articles tonight, they have some real surprises. If you don't create a swap partition, you have the option of a swap file, but some of the distros don't activate it, so you may be trying to run without a swap file. If you have 16 gigs or more of real memory and you're not overloading your system, you may be just fine. Okay, 8 gigs is the minimum where you have to start having at least some size of a swap file or swap partition, and definitely anything less than 8 you have to have them, or you're not going to get a whole lot accomplished on your system. But one of the articles goes through everything you have to do if a swap file is not automatically set up, how to set the thing up. Anybody who thinks it's a pain in the butt to set up a swap partition or resize the swap partition, boy, wait until you see what it takes to go through and set up a swap file, which always is in your root directory. And like I said, when you have one big Easter egg, if you got lots of storage, You're not going to notice it for a long time, probably. But depending on how many flat packs you have installed and or snap packs installed and or virtual machines installed on your system, those natively exist in the root partition. And so if you're going to take and bother doing partitioning, there might be a slight degradation, but with modern machines, it would be so negligible you're not going to notice it. Whereas if you're on very old hardware, you may notice some degradation in the partitioning idea. The simplistic part about it is that I have only one version of Linux that I don't set up a UEFI partition on. And it happens to be an old machine that doesn't know what UEFI is. I only have one Linux distro that also requires a UEFI if that's what the machine understands, and also has a desire to have a separate boot partition, which is the only distro I've got that has a boot partition separate from the root. Then I have my home and I have my swap. But if you're going to have many flat packs and or virtual machines, it's best to break out the var folder into a separate partition. That keeps it from hogging up space in your root directory and having to make that bigger and bigger and bigger. Right now, the biggest root partition I've ever created is about 50 gigabytes. My smallest is 21 or 22 gigabytes going off the top of my head. So it makes a big difference. I don't want to have much flat pack or any virtual machines on that real small setup. Bob?
There is a distinction to be made between where snaps live and where flat packs live.
Yes.
Flat packs live in your var partition, but snaps are much more like Windows App Store applications. They live in the home partition or directory.
And that's
And the home, and there are some other programs that store their data and some file systems in your home directory.
And that's why
That's when you may need to break out that home directory into a partition.
well, that's a possibility too, but I have not yet seen where somebody's going to have a home partition that's so small that can't handle a lot of snap packages, etc. And that's where it likes to live. Let it live there. Don't worry about it. But it also got into a lot of things on recovery. Well, if you don't have separate partition for like the home directory, and either something goes badly wrong with an update and your only option is to reinstall the root partition, which I also include the UEFI, and if there's a boot partition, I include that in the rebuild, and you say that any other partitions, you have them keep the data they've got. In the root partition, depending on what happened there, you may or may not want to format the root partition, but the UEFI and boot partitions, if I have those, I always reformat them. And you have to set up the appropriate flags appropriate for UEFI and the boot partitions, and you may or may not have in the root partition. But usually all you have to do in the other partitions is identify, oh, this one's home, so it's /home, do not format. Some say keep, and some just have a box for formatting. And if you leave that box unchecked, it will not format the home partition. Same if you break out var or any of the other partitions for justifiable reasons, then you have a situation where you can save all that information and either reinstall the same OS again and then get it updated, or B, you can install a different Linux operating system in the same partitions, and it will recognize your home and other partitions that you have reserved from the prior install. That's something you can't do when you have the one big partition. Also, if you have the big partition, you have to know, I gotta have my installation media, because that's my rescue disk, to be able to go in and be able to copy out the home directory and maybe other directories like var or something like that, and put them onto an external drive other than the install media. And that way you preserve that and then go about rebuilding that system and putting your data that you saved back onto that rebuilt system. Also, I found out that other partitions other than the UEFI boot partition and root, there may be a reserve area being kept that you can get rid of. There's a command to do that. When you are creating a swap file or any file on your system that's fairly large in size, measured in like a kilobyte or better, I'm not a kilobyte, a gigabyte or better, you have to worry about fragmentation. So there is defragmentation you may have to consider. And there's one other instruction that I came across in one of the videos that was quite interesting as well. It's just a case where there are constantly new things to learn. Bob?
Tim, are you saying that according to these videos, Linux experiences file level fragmentation?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Nope. You can ask anybody who goes all the way back to the Unix days. There's no file level fragmentation in the ext file system.
Well, there's people that will disagree with that 100% and back up what they're saying.
Well, I'd like to see their proof.
Well, that's up to you and them. I don't care one way or the other, but I'm just providing the information. And if you don't,
in any event, there are no Linux defragmenters. No programs that do it.
it's built into Linux.
Not defragmenting. Trim, yes.
No.
Defragmenting, no.
E2 defrag is the program.
The ext file system doesn't do file level fragmentation. There may be other kinds of claims of other kinds of fragmentation, but it's not file level fragmentation.
Well,
And the other kinds of fragmentation just don't affect performance.
like I said, there are other people who have a different view and opinion. And that's why we got so many different kinds of Linux to start with. So I'll let you battle that out with them.
Well, the thing is, I just hate to see people putting wear and tear, especially on SSDs, trying to do something that just simply does not apply.
Well, I even came across another one if we have time to get to it. It'll be in the handout. Uh, you can now take, just like in Windows and Mac, you can designate a browser as your default browser. Well, you can install part of the browser into RAM memory and keep it with a couple of timed scripts at boot time when you log in and when you shut down the system. It updates what's in memory back down to the drive, because when you're using your browsers, you are reading, writing an awful lot to your storage drive, and this supposedly reduces that. And it sounds like it's a possibility. I haven't had time to look into it. That it is something that can reduce some of the read writes. I've mentioned before in a couple meetings back that Z-swap to help reduce swap writing unnecessarily to your swap directory or file unless it's absolutely necessary. And so there are a lot of things being done to try and reduce read writes that are not absolutely necessary in a lot of systems, not just Linux, but in also Windows. The swapping, it's called something else in Windows, but they have a reserved compressed area in Windows. I don't know how far back that goes because I didn't know it existed until I found out how to create it in a Linux system. So I don't remember which month it was. It could have been September, October. I'm pretty sure it was not November, but I'm thinking September, October time frame. I talked about Z-swap. There's another one called Z-RAM. I don't know that it works exactly the same as the Z-swap, but it's a possibility. It will also do the same kind of thing. And what you're doing is you're taking and reserving a space that will be automatically compressed to intercept anything the operating system is trying to remove from RAM to the swap file on storage, but keep it up in RAM in a compressed format and hope that it will be pulled back into regular RAM as needed, and will only write to the storage swap area when that compressed reserve area gets too full. That's when it'll start writing out to the actual storage. So there, like I say, there's a ton of things here that you can't keep track of all the stuff. Any further ideas and comments on Linux in general? There is a new operating system, if you're not aware of it, called Cosmic, and it was developed by Pop! OS for System 76 machines, and they think, well, there are people out there who think it's looking so good right now, and it's only been out a short time, that it could be a major competitor to the GNOME and KDE desktops. We'll have to all wait and see on that one. All right, I'm gonna then, since I don't see anything else coming up, I'm going to get into, well, I'm going to stop my share. And then I'm going to at any rate, let's see here. What have I got? I got to bring that back up. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of time here, but I'm trying to get certain things accomplished. Let's see if I can get, don't want that. Get out of that. Launch that. And nope. Okay. Now. Okay. Let's see here. September, October, November. Okay. In the software manager, we have, I got 10 more that I'm going to point out to you. And even Earl might be able to find some of these. Okay. Wrong keyboard. Can't do it that way. Speech notes. Or did I put an extra character in there? Yeah, I'm going to take out the S. There we go. Speech note. And it's a flat pack. Come on. Now, why is that not launching? Oh, I just broke my connection.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
I just want to keep most of that out of the meeting.
About the defrag, you mean?
Yeah,
No, that was,
it's a matter of not beating a dead horse.
yeah, but I learned something from that.
So did I.
I never heard of that program. I tell you, plasma is mind-boggling. And if you want more desktops, it's so trivial. It's unbelievable. This idea that you have to log out. I mean, give me a break. Anyway, I think that's interesting. I had 3 files out of 87 in my documents folder that had a little bit of frag.
This is on a hard drive?
Yeah, solid state drive.
No, solid state is different from hard drive. You're talking about on a solid state drive?
I think so.
And you want to defrag?
Well,
Are you actually going to do that and defrag them?
no, gosh, no. I'm kidding.
This is what I'm saying. Not
Well,
on an
what should
SSD.
what should have I called my drive? If it's
I'm just saying a solid state drive is not what most people say when they think of when they
yeah,
say
because
hard
it's
drive.
not rotating with cylinders.
Right. A rotating hard drive, yes, you can defrag, fine. It just won't do you any good at that level.
Yeah, and I do think it's a dead horse on Linux, really.
I'm just saying the topic. We have discussed it enough, I think.
Well,
Now
he
the
wants
question is,
plasma.
I saw Tim disappeared,
It looks like he has disappeared. Yeah,
and it looks like he completely disappeared.
Well,
I
how
guess.
is the meeting continuing if the host is gone?
That's what I want to find out. Whether there's any Tim in here. No,
Still
I
says
don't
it's
see-
recording.
I got made host because Tim had to do something.
Oh,
So I can kick anybody out and I can let anybody in.
all right. What's the next? What's your next topic, Bob?
I would be interested in whatever Tim wants to show. It's just he had a technical issue, and I think we have in fact finished with what we were talking about. So let me get rid of that.
Well, Dennis.
Is plasma a separate distribution, or is it
Oh,
something?
yeah, that's right. Dennis asked that question. What is plasma?
Okay.
And that's worth talking about right now. And the answer is no, it's not a distribution. It's a window manager. I don't think it's proper to even call it a desktop environment. It's just a window manager. And to me, it is just way, way, way more feature rich than anything.
A window manager in Linux.
Yeah, it's just like GNOME or something like that.
You can
Oh,
add it
so
to any
it-
distribution.
You're saying it's more like Cinnamon is a desktop
Yeah,
environment,
that's
Plasma
right.
is a desktop environment, and KDE Plasma doesn't qualify as a whole independent distro.
No, that's right.
What distro is it based on? Is it based on Ubuntu?
Well, my distro is KDE Neon, which is based on
Neon. Ah,
it's Ubuntu, which is based on Debian.
yes. Neon is the actual distro. So you're using Debian.
Well, but I've heard on these discussions that it is actually, strictly speaking, KDE and Neon is not a distro. It is a desktop that distros can distribute, and some do and some don't. And that's why this new thing is under development by the KDE people of their own distro called KDE Linux, which is in alpha right now.
All right.
Something tells me this spring or whenever KDE Linux goes beta, that I'll put that up on one of these machines I've got here. And it will be an official KDE distribution at that point.
Okay. So Neon is almost a distro,
Yeah,
but not quite.
in everyday speech, everybody calls it a distro.
Yeah, but it could be based on other distros.
It could be.
Plasma is just a windowing system,
Yeah, that's
and
Windows.
KDE Linux is the actual distro that is in beta.
I think it's an alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah. I can send you the URL on KDE Linux.
Okay. So let's get these corrections up into chat.
Okay. There's a number of YouTube videos up on KDE Linux if you want to watch them. You know, these people who run everything and they make a video about it.
They do.
And KDE Linux is based on not Debian, but Arch
Arch.
repository. But it is not an Arch distribution. It's just they use that archive or whatever you want to,
That repo.
and it uses, for example, KDE Linux will use Discover as their update tool, just like Neon does. But KDE Linux will use Butter FS system.
Okay.
And
ButterFS or
immutable.
ButterFS, or as some of its proponents call it, BetterFS.
I
And
haven't used it.
that is also the default for Fedora.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's been like 10 years in progress, I guess. But and let me just say that KDE Linux is also immutable. And a friend of mine says, "Why in the world would you want that?" And why not make the whole operating system kernel, just make it read only. And at least it chops some vectors of hackers and others if you do that, it seems to me.
Here's why not. I have run into hardware that needed to have things changed in system areas in order to even run the hardware. Especially wireless networking. But there have been others. There have been graphics issues. There have been sound issues where I would not have been able to solve them without changing some system areas. That's the downside to having an immutable kernel.
I don't know. I haven't ever done one, so I have no idea. But I wouldn't even want to use an operating system or a Linux distribution that causes problems with the things you've mentioned. I mean,
they all do.
Well,
there is a lot of hardware, and even if you run AMD processors, there are a lot of incompatibilities with almost all Linux. Wi-Fi 7 and 6E in the 6 gigahertz range are still not consistently working on any Linux that I know of.
Really?
Yep.
I must
of course, it does depend on your Wi-Fi hardware.
I must live in a very, very simple world because I'm as simple, I use browsing, I use email, I use Zoom, I use LibreOffice and a few other things, but I don't do anything that challenges my computer.
Well, in Windows 11, 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi with WPA3 does not challenge the operating system very much.
I wouldn't think it would.
But it does challenge almost all Linux. Now, I haven't tried it on Fedora, so I can't tell you. I haven't tried it on KDE Neon.
I in general don't use Wi-Fi, even though my cable modem, of course, supports it. But unless my sister's visiting me with her iPad, I don't use it. I don't know why. And I should take that back. When I want to use KDE Connect between my cell phone and KDE Neon, I guess that goes through Wi-Fi. And it works.
Yeah.
But
Tim must know that he fell out of the meeting.
I would think he would.
Let me check my email, see if he did anything about this.
Hey, Bob, if you're the default host, does that mean the meeting is still recording or no?
Yes, the Zoom recording should still be going on.
Okay.
It's only Tim's personal recording, which would have crashed, and I don't know what happened with Tim. He might have lost his internet.
He's suffered some severe weather about now because it just passed me in West suburban Chicago. Chicago, so he might have some nasty storm or something.
So there are storms in the area?
Well, there was
Yeah.
a terrific
Yeah.
wind. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 50-mile-an-hour wind passing through and everything. Yeah.
That's what causes most of my power failures, I think, is just wind, dropping branches.
Well, power and internet are different things, but yeah, it could have gone out. And that would mean he wouldn't be able to send any email to anybody either.
Right, that's right. He would be dead in the water, so to speak.
Yeah, his ability to participate would be.
Well,
He
we
himself
can
should be safe.
abandon his agenda and present your agenda.
We don't have his agenda. That's the problem.
Well,
He
but
never
you
gives
have
out his
voted.
handout. He never gives out his handout early enough
Yeah.
to continue with it. And I didn't come here with any particular agenda.
I'll bring up something in the interim here because earlier on people were talking about LibreOffice and this strange issues. Well, I use LibreOffice a lot and never saw that issue, but it reminds me I want to bring up that I found out in the last week or so there is a spin-off or something like that of LibreOffice called Collabora or something like that, which is a front end to LibreOffice that's supposed to look a lot like Microsoft Office or 365 or whatever it is they call it now. And so just for the fun of it, I did download that app. And when I opened that, it opened up fine. If I tried to open a file that I've already created in LibreOffice, it won't do anything. But if I create a new file in that, sure enough, it comes up with a different format than LibreOffice. So I guess it's like Microsoft 365. But I haven't used that in so long, I don't know how close it is.
How do you spell that, Earl? Collab with a C or a K?
Yes, COLLO bar. Let me just check my
Is it COLLIBRE?
no, it's COLLABORA.
Oh, Collabora.
ABORA. Okay.
Collabora.
Yeah, and I think I downloaded it as a flat pack. Although I had the option of downloading a snap as well. Anyway, I don't know if it looks like Microsoft Office more than LibreOffice is, but I then remembered that when I used the original Star Office, maybe 20 some years ago, it looked a lot different from Microsoft Office at that time. And I thought that was rather frustrating because the learning curve was a little bit steep. And a lot of people say, the hell with it. I don't want to use Libre or Star Office. But then I realized that look and feel is part of intellectual property. And if they had tried to use the look and feel of Microsoft Office, Microsoft would have shut them down. So they had to make it sufficiently different. So, but now 20 years have passed, LibreOffice is so well established that there's nothing Microsoft could do to them now.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to make a front end to LibreOffice that looks like Microsoft 365, I guess they could get away with it. I had the option of downloading a snap as well. Anyway, I don't know if it looks like Microsoft Office more than LibreOffice is, but I then remembered that when I used the original Star Office, maybe 20 some years ago, it looked a lot different from Microsoft Office at that time. And I thought that was rather frustrating because the learning curve was a little bit steep. And a lot of people say, the hell with it, I don't want to use Libre or Star Office. But then I realized that look and feel is part of intellectual property. And if they had tried to use the look and feel of Microsoft Office, Microsoft would have shut them down. So they had to make it sufficiently different. So, but now 20 years has passed, LibreOffice is so well established that there's nothing Microsoft could do to them now. So if somebody wanted to make a front end to LibreOffice that looks like Microsoft 365, I guess they could get away with it.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Tim? What happened to you, Tim?
Ethernet seems to have gone up because a restart wouldn't do anything, along with diagnostics of restarting the network adapter on 3 machines here. And I had to go in to where the modem router was, unplug it, wait a small amount of time, and then plug it back in. Finally came back up. But even there, I had one machine I had to reset the network adapter. The others were okay. Sorry about that.
We're glad to have you back.
Well, I'm not sure I want to be back. No.
I feel like that sometimes too.
Yeah, well, the way this is going, gee whiz. Anyway, we're gonna run out of time, or we're gonna be going overtime. But I'll see what I can do here. Anyway, boy, I'm telling you, they keep wanting to make this stuff get in the way. Jiminy Christmas. All right. Basically, oh, crud. I can't get anything to work my way. All right. Now, what I was trying to do when everything went straight into the dumpster is good. I just killed the mouse and I want to permanently terminate it. Now what? Okay. Speech note. Now let's see if I can not crash the whole system. Now, speech note lets you take, read and translate notes into multiple languages. It uses speech to text, text to speech, and machine translation to do so. Text and voice processing take place entirely offline, locally on your computer without using a network connection. Your privacy is always respected. No data is sent to the internet. So that might interest a few of you. Don't know. Next one. This will be interesting. Gear lever. This one here in the middle. As you can see, there's a lot of other things. This is a utility to manage app images with ease. Gear lever will organize and manage app image files for you, generate desktop entries and app metadata, update apps in place, or keep multiple versions side by side. So if you're into app images, that's one way to go. And I know of one piece of software I learned about today that though there are installable snap and or flatpak packages, if you go to the website of the developer of the package, they want to distribute it as an app image to eliminate some of the problems that occur in the other packages, including being out of date. It'll be more up to date if you get the app image. So I thought I'd mention that. This one here has been brought up by some buddy in the group here. Yeah, I misspelled it. Still got a spelling error. Come on. Boy, if they're that picky, man, no wonder probably nobody is using it. This. All right. GKRELLM. And this is something that Bob brought to our attention a long time ago. Worth repeating it. With a single process, however you enunciate the one name, manages multiple stacked monitors and supports applying themes to match the monitor's appearance to your Windows Manager, GTK, or any other theme. And this is the image that would show up on your system, so you know that you have a certain amount of memory, the CPU is doing a certain amount of work, each one of the CPUs, how many processes are going, and so on and so forth. So it gives you a lot of breakdowns, especially if you may be running out of space, either in memory or storage workspace, whatever the case may be. This monitoring software may give you some answers. Bob can speak to that one perhaps better.
Yeah, I can say something. Two things. Some people do not like how much screen real estate it takes up because it will sit on your screen as sort of a sidebar, and it takes up almost the entire sidebar or even more. If you add too many so-called krells showing too many different things at once, you will run out of space and it won't display everything because of screen real estate issues.
But that's
If I have drives, I can tell which ones are active and whether they're still writing. And when they're reading, if I have an issue with something going slowly from one storage device to another, I can sometimes track down where the bottleneck is. And other points in not just your system, but your network, you can also track with gchrome.
Yeah, and they could backtrack my connection here and why it died too. Ha ha.
Yeah, all it will tell you is you lost your internet because
I already
WL whatever
I
has
already
gone.
knew that. I didn't need it to tell me anything, but like any monitoring type tool, if you go overboard and try and do too much all at once, then you're going to start running into problems of resources. Especially the older the system is, the less memory you have, the less storage you have. Those are all going to be factors into possibly maxing out your system and having a hard time trying to diagnose where your problems are at so that you can address those problems, maybe by adding memory, maybe if you can afford it, adding storage, or even taking storage you've got and using a partitioner to be able to take away memory not being used in the storage in some of the partitions and giving it to partitions that are running out of space. So those are some factors that can take place in some people's systems.
Yeah. And one other thing about G-Chrome, you're not stuck with just one sidebar. If you absolutely have to keep track of 20 different drives or dozens of different cores, you can actually clone that panel so that you have 2 or 3 side by side. I've had as many as 5 side by side if I had too many drives. But at that point, it gets pretty confusing.
Well, not only that, but you're likely not getting much done that perhaps is the cause of you looking at so many monitors to try and determine where a bottleneck is at. And that's usually the big thing. Your network at times can be a bottleneck depending on the speed of service you are paying for and the speed of service you are actually receiving. Because the internet, by the time it gets to your place, may be degraded. I know one person I was helping out for lots of years. He had AT&T service, and he was supposed to be getting, I think it was 25 megabits per second download. I forget what the upload was. And he couldn't most of the time even get as high as 2 megabytes. When we finally got a hold of AT&T and got it pried out of them, he happened to live in a little desert that AT&T still provides what service they can, but bottom line is the service is known to be lousy in that section he was in, and they were going to do nothing about upgrading the infrastructure, probably because it wasn't cost effective for them to do so. Anybody outside of that area that he was in had absolutely no problem, had full service. That was the first case I've ever had of having basically a small desert, and the user was right in the middle of it. Now, the next one I got here is clap grep. Ever had a folder full of PDF files where you knew where somewhere in there is what you are looking for, but you didn't know in which file? So you had to search each of them one at a time. With clap grep, this is no longer necessary. Simply open the folder with the clap grep entry and the search term, and clap grep will do all the hard work of finding out which of the packages file line in which file the information you are looking for, etc. So basically, This is a command line interface graphical that allows you to use the grep command line interface, and you can open it up to the folder you want to search through, and you can type in what to search for, and it'll come back and let you know what file or files contain that search value, and possibly the line number that exists in that file. It depends on how much information you give it. The less information you give it, the quicker it is, but you're going to get a lot of, I guess he put in just glib. Well, look at all the glibs just in probably one full file in that folder. If he gave it a little bit more of what he was looking for, then he would have been able to narrow it down to maybe one file or just a couple files, and he could go into each one of those files and find what he was looking for by line number. So that's something to look at. In association with that, we got another one called RIP grep. RIP grep also brought up clamp grep. Well, RIP does the following. RIP grep is a line-oriented search tool that recursively searches your current directory from a regexe EX pattern while respecting your JIT NOR rules, and automatically skip hidden files and directories, smart filtering, and binary files. RipGrip is similar to other popular search tools such as ClapGrip. So that's another one. And let's see. Tailscale. Tailscale is an unofficial GUI interface for the Tailscale daemon, particularly for use on Linux, as no official Linux GUI clients exist. It provides a basic system tray icon and a fairly comprehensive UI with support for many Tailscale features. Tailscale interfaces with the Tailscale daemon to perform many of its, and I've got a little bit of something in the way here. Good. Hey, I learned something new there. Of its operation. In order for this work, the daemon must have been configured with the current user as the operator. To do this, run sudo tailscale set $operator equals $user from the command line at the least once manually. And it gives you then the ability to do another way of searching information on your devices. And that includes, from the looks of it, if you got a phone hooked up to your computer, it may be able to search the phone as well. All right, now I've only got a few more to go. Not sure how this one's enunciated. Varia? Anyway, Varia is better than your browser and downloading stuff. supporting videos and torrents on top of just regular files, and with a variety of advanced features wrapped inside an easy to understand interface. VAR is both quite powerful and dead simple to use. So it's kind of like a download manager that gives you the ability to have many downloads going and seeing what the progress of each one is, killing what you want. So that's another one to think about. The next one. Oh, you son of a gun. You did it to me again. All right. Didn't copy like it was supposed to. Sublime. All right. This one's real great. Sublime Text is a sophisticated text editor for code, markup, and prose. And it depends upon what you're looking for. This could be an alternative type of text editor. It does seem to have a some other similar products associated with it. As you can see here, you got a Sublime Merge and a Sublime Music available for it. I don't know if this node fuzzy sort applies to the Sublime or not. Now, I think I got just two left here. This one ought to be for some of you. Lunacy. That way you feel like you're right at home. Lunacy is the ultimate graphic design editor for UX/UI and web. It combines the best features of all the designer's apps to help you optimize your workflow and minimize distractions. Take advantage of the built-in graphics library, use powerful AI tools, and collaborate with projects with your team or other platforms simultaneously. So if you're trying to do something graphical, even like a graphical wrapper for command line program, that might give you a leg up on being able to create your graphical interface easier, unless you also want to get into creating websites. And the last one is Zettler, or something like that. Writing is an essential part of everyday life. Why make it complicated? Why not? Zettler redefines what writing means. It's is slim, fast, versatile. Focus on what matters to you. Publish it or perish, and so forth. So this is a kind of a writer's type of application, especially if you're into documenting complex things, including, say, the manuals for Linux. You could bring them into here and do some your own customization. But it also is good if you're a budding writer and you want to publish possibly what you create. So that's my 10 for the month of December. get out of that one and close that. And boy, is this getting to be a problem. I'm talking to myself mostly. Okay. I don't know how much we'll get done here. And even if we go a little past 9, we're not going to get to everything. Never do.
Did Tim just freeze again?
Maybe because he does.
Two of his are in, one of his is out. And out. So yes, something happened.
Yeah, I saw a message flash across the top of the screen that said Bob is now the host. Yeah.
Yep. We're back to this. Just the four of us.
Well, while we're waiting for that, let me just interject that some time ago we were talking about UEFI and how you have to keep pressing a key to get the darn boot menu to come up. But I've noticed that on my distribution now, on the boot menu, when you power up, it actually has a line entry for UEFI edit. So it's very, very easy to boot up and then click on that line and come up in UEFI for editing purposes. I thought that was nice.
Look, let me ask, when we were talking about that workspace options before, when I bring up that workspaces, one of the things says enable workspace OSD. Then another option says allow cycling through workspaces. But what's enable workspace OSD?
Well, first of all, I would leave it at the defaults. Second, I don't know.
Okay, it happens to be
That's
turned
something
on.
to look up.
It
All
happens to be
right.
turned on mine, even though allow cycling is turned off. I don't know.
OSD in Linux. On-screen display. In other words, the workspaces can. All right. You can get immediate visual feedback on the current workspace. You can turn it on and off. It's endemic to Cinnamon. Other desktop environments like GNOME. And you can also mess around with for how long the identifier stays on screen, so that it isn't there all day and all night. And there is a similar workspace switch in KDE.
So how many Linux boxes are you running, Pete?
I'm actually running one continuous, but I've
Okay.
got two more on the side.
Okay. Are you
Two,
using them for your school stuff or just personal stuff right now?
just personal stuff. I may donate it all in one to the school, but I haven't found somebody over there that wants to take it over.
Uh,
That means more work for somebody else.
okay.
Oh. Think Bob's gonna make it, or I mean, Tim's gonna make it back?
It's already 8:45. Yeah, I don't know.
I might hang it up.
Yeah,
I think I will.
Now,
Happy
take care,
holidays.
Earl.
Bye-bye.
take
Take
care,
care.
Earl. Have a
Bye-bye.
good Christmas.
Take care.
Thank you.
Oh, happy holidays.
Why don't we call it, Bob?
Well, if everybody else wants to say no, I say we're done, then maybe we're done.
Well, the only thing is, if Tim tries to get back in,
No, he can restart the meeting if he wants, but
no,
I
he can tell her we're gone. I mean,
oh
or
he'll know
he'll.
we're gone.
Okay.
So I'm inclined to hang around for a little while longer.
Well, he may have had a handout.
Maybe. If he can't get in back into the meeting, he knows who was here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a great New Year and call it a night.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Well, good night, Pete,
Good
and
night.
happy holidays.
Yep. We'll see you. Oh, let me throw something at you, Bob.
Yeah.
So I created a spreadsheet on the Chromebook, and I was putting in some figures for tax calculations because I have to do a required minimum distribution for me, for my wife, all this kind of stuff. And I thought, well, rather than emailing the file to myself and then opening up the file, and then opening up my email on my Linux machine, and copying the file and then opening it in LibreOffice, I thought, why don't I just create a draft? I created a draft email and I attached the file from my Chromebook. And then when I opened up my Linux box, went to my email, there was the draft, but I couldn't grab the file back out of the draft. So does that make sense? You can only email it to yourself, but you can't get it back out of a draft? It didn't seem to let me on it in the draft.
Your Chromebook uses what? Google Sheets?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your best bet is to save whatever you produce on the Chromebook to your Google Drive, the G Drive.
Okay.
Google Drive can be accessed through your Google account from Linux, through any browser. Then you could just download it. It will be in a format whatever Sheet saves in, and I think you may be able to choose the format.
Okay.
I have a feeling it'll be a Microsoft format, but Excel, but that's nothing LibreOffice can't handle.
Okay. I didn't think of that. Put it in the drive and then get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I take a regular USB drive, I have an old XP computer. I haven't used it for a long time, but I know there's some Excel spreadsheets on it. If I were to go there and just copy couple folders of Excel spreadsheets onto a flash drive. Would I be able to directly input that flash drive into my Linux machine and have it read those old XLS files? Or I need to have a special ext4, ext5, whatever it is, formatted USB.
FAT32 works universally. That's the native format of flash drives. It works universally.
So
Just don't.
flash. Okay.
Yeah, just don't format it for Windows NTFS. If you leave it as the original format, that's FAT32 or exFAT.
Yeah.
And Linux handles those perfectly well.
Okay, great. Yeah, my wife lost her ability to use the Microsoft Office 360 and
365, yeah.
or yeah, 365. So I've decided I'm just going to go full LibreOffice on everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was that? Oh, Tim.
Is he
Hello.
there? I don't see him.
I just got a ding ding, which is the doorbell, which I'm not used to. Tim may be back. We may be rewarded with a handout.
I see a box.
Yep. We may be rewarded with a handout. Patience is a virtue, Dennis.
Yep.
But no, there's no special formatting needed, and you don't need any subscriptions or anything. As long as the files are still there and they're in XLS format, LibreOffice.
And if I wanted to read them back, if I put them on the Linux,
Yep.
LibreOffice, can I bring them back to that same FAT32 USB drive?
Linux has read and write to normally formatted FAT32 USB flash drives.
Well, then
what's perfectly possible.
Then what's the purpose of having formatting, ext4, 5, or these other formats?
Okay. It's actually not recommended to do that for anything that's going to be shared between Linux and any other operating system. If you're going to share it with other computers, if you're going to share it with Windows, you should probably use a more universal format, which is FAT32.
Okay.
In other words, just don't touch it.
Okay.
And the less you do touch that flash drive, the more likely it is Linux will be able to get the files out of it.
Okay.
So, don't overthink things, Dennis. Just leave them as they are.
All right.
And for Google Sheets, I would save to Google Drive. Second option is save to a flash drive.
Okay.
Chromebooks can do that too. And Chromebooks don't care. They like FAT32 as well.
Okay. We see you, Tim, even though you're muted.
Just wait till he gets set up. Give him some time.
There ain't no setup per se.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play any further with this, and I don't know if I'll have any kind of a video. If I do, it's not going to be much.
Yeah, and Earl and Peter, they bailed. They said it's really late, so.
I know.
Yeah, they left. Tim, if you have a meeting handout, that's all that we would want.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think we'll have to call this.
Should be out there.
I think we'll have to call this meeting. Anyway, we got some good stuff done.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of interesting material in the handout.
Good, good.
And
And if
you-
there are videos to watch, so much the better.
well, most of it is, but there's maybe a couple files that you got to read.
Couple of articles. Okay, good. Posts.
But there's quite a bit of information in there, and like I said, I already yesterday and today have come across some more material that'll come up in maybe January. Do you guys get your copies?
I got it.
Let me get it. Downloading. And computer, user, desktop. Let's put it there.
I don't know what's going on, but apparently something's knocked out on my internet. Actually, this time, 2 times in a row. It was just starting to come back and went out again.
Are you having the heavy rain and the heavy wind in your area right before?
Well, wind, yes, but how much that's a factor? I mean, if it was daylight and they weren't in hibernation, they could blame dancing squirrels doing a tightrope act.
Yeah, in this case, I would guess it was some kind of a tree branch.
That or a drunk driver.
Yeah, somebody might have skidded.
Oh, we get that once in a while, and usually though it knocks out the electricity. You'll end up hearing you think you got the 4th of July going on because there's a substation with 3 giant transformers. One goes out within seconds, the second goes out, and within seconds of that, the third one goes out. And you're stuck until they reroute electricity around the substation.
Yeah, if it was electric. But I'm saying the cable system itself, something could have fallen on the cable.
Yeah, well, it's above ground in my community. It's not
Yep.
under.
Yeah. So it's not underground, and so could have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the document has gotten to my desktop intact, so that worked.
Well, I'll send the others an email with it. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have fun trying to piece together anything worthwhile on video.
I think if the video was still running the Zoom recording, there were
No.
some interesting things we were discussing when you were offline.
My suggestion, my guess is when it took me out, I was the host. Therefore, odds are the Zoom video is out.
Not necessarily. I've had this situation happen before when it was handed off to me and I was the host. The Zoom recording continued.
Well, yeah, but at the moment, I was the only one that was primary, secondary. So, and I
Yeah,
had connections there too.
No, when you dropped
Zoom
out, there was a message that popped up that says, Bob, you're now the host.
yeah. I was somehow made the host both times.
Okay.
So you may luck out.
All right.
You
Well,
may have been able to capture what we talked about when you were out.
yeah, but that's going to take a lot of editing too, and that. So I'm going to,
Oh, yeah.
instead of doing some of my projects, I guess tomorrow I'm going to be spending most of the day just trying to piece together something.
Yeah, if it did in fact record that. If not, then all we've got is whatever we got.
Whatever.
Well, you guys have a nice holidays. We'll see you next year.
Yeah,
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
happy holidays. Hope we all get together next year.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
See you guys later.
All right. Bye.